say that to talk about the vocal cords, I like to use my larynx model.
Yeah.
You can get one of these, I think, for, I don't know, like $150 on Amazon or whatever. So here's the main three cartilages that control the vocal cords surround the larynx. The big one is the thyroid, cricoid, and the arytenoid. And these are generally abbreviated TCA. In between each of these cartilages are muscles, the TA muscle, CT muscle, and the AC. So you can think of the vocal cord as kind of like a trilogy. Like there's three control elements that control the vocal cord. Now the kind of the dominant and main one, we talk in our chest voice, sometimes we refer to the natural voice, is the vocal cord muscle TA. And when you have a beginning student, right, and they're singing, oh, and they're getting up to E flat, and then you're like, well, you might want to think of your head voice, and then they're like, oh.
Yeah.
Have you experienced that?
Yeah. Absolutely. In the beginning when I started singing, yeah.
Yeah. So then the head voice is controlled in order to get the coordination that we're going to need to have a mix. You have to have some play between C and T. Hmm. Have you heard of these muscles?
Yeah, that there are different muscles in the vocal cords. Yeah.
Sure. So TA and CT are kind of like the big ones. All right. So that's like TA, chest. And when you get a student at the beginning and they've been singing like hard, that TA muscle is contracting like this, right? So your job as a voice teacher is going to like, okay, dear, let's let it go a little bit. And they're like, well, that's going to feel too light, right? Now, if they go into falsetto, then they're no longer on what we would call the modal voice. So there's false vocal cords that would resonate. Huh. And I think that's complicated, actually. And sometimes we'll say, oh, well, that's falsetto. That can be a whole, like, a realm of itself. What is falsetto?
Yeah.
But generally, I would define falsetto as something that is discontinuous. So if it's going, oh, that's obviously falsetto. But if it's, it might be light, but it's continuous. So then we'll say that's not falsetto, according to my rules.
That's the head voice, right?
The head voice, right.
Yeah.
So then this CT muscle is going to stretch the vocal cord this way. And so when you're talking about singing with less mass, you're talking about using this action to thin the vocal cord, okay? So that's kind of like requiring CT. And actually, it's pretty amazing that the body can do this, because what's required here is for this whole cartilage to swing out away from these arytenoid muscles. So you're stretching the vocal cord that way. But then